Oh no. Oh guys. Oh fellas. Oh, hang on. I'm sorry. I just got a text from Duck. Hang on real quick. Hang on. The new U2's stuff just got revealed. Hang on. I'm so good at streaming. I'm so good at this. Hang on. Look. I mean, I guess I'm glad we're getting the main characters, but this is gonna upset you. Not only did we get the main characters, we got the freaking building. Is it not on? Are you not display capturing? Okay. Okay, it's just a huge delay. It's just a huge delay. I want to get the Husk and the hotel. The thing is, I love the hotel. I think this is actually a really cute figure. I think these are all adorable. They're all very cute. My problem is, I want Adam! I'm a simp and I want Adam! I want him so bad! I can't believe we got the building before we got the main antagonist! I'm glad we have Vaggie. Glad we have Vaggie and Serpentius and Husk. I'm glad we have everyone. I can't believe they did the building and not Nifty. Nifty's a main character too. Oh my goodness. I'm so frustrated with the way that Has-Been Hotel merch is like being released. Like, just do all of them, huh? Just do all the main characters, please. You have the ability, you just aren't doing it. It's not that hard. Ah, yes, my favorite character, the building. Did you make a vid where you make designs for U2's Has-Been stuff? Like you could design Adam and Loot and stuff? I guess we could try. It's not a style that I've ever practiced before, but I feel like that would be just me drawing the characters. I'm already so dang busy with everything else that I've got going on, I guess that would be like good filler content. I could attempt. No guarantees, and no guarantees that it'll happen quickly. Speaking of the bed and breakfast for former baddies, my Zestial design is actually taking a while. I'm giving him 3 I'm planning on giving him like 3 different designs. So he's got a human form, a halfway form, and a full demon form. So that one's actually going to take a little bit longer than I expected. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm planning on making a quick Otherverse video to go between it. Honestly, I'm not the merch buying type, but if Adam dropped, I will buy him. I agree. I don't usually buy a ton of merch because I'm poor. I'm very poor. But if Adam dropped, I would totally buy him. I did ask my mom to get me the Charlie pre-order one for my birthday so that I could pretend like she got me something on time for my birthday. It happens every year. But I don't know if she actually did. I hope she did. It would make me happy. What my ultimate goal is to have the Charlie figurine and also the Adam figurine when he eventually does get released, because I expect he will be released eventually. There's just so much demand. My ultimate goal is to own both figurines and then make them kiss. Have you watched the music video for 3 kobolds in a trench coat? It's very funny. I have seen that, yes. Adam got less merch than the freaking key. Yeah, for real. I don't know why Vivziev's Vivzy or Vivzy's team or whoever it is in charge of merch stuff thinks that anyone cares about the key, because no one does. Not a singular person cares about the key or Kiki. It seems like they're trying to make Kiki and the key like they're trying to make her like a mascot of the franchise, but just no one cares. Not a single person cares. Where's my reference? Okay, so the toe is smaller on this side. Works. GTA 6 before more Adam merch. Maybe what I should do is I should make a video complaining about the lack of Adam merch and then make Adam merch. Because we all want it. Everyone wants it. I remember when Duck showed me the U2's announcement for like they were asking like which characters do you want to see next, and the amount of people in the comments that were begging for Adam was comical, and then we didn't get Adam. So hopefully we'll get Adam after this next merch drop that's happened. Mascots need to have a presence, generally speaking. I agree. Like, Pikachu is a great mascot because not only is he adorable, but he's also very important to the story. Like, even if he's, like, not Ash's, like, main battle Pokemon, he's always there in every episode, and he matters so much, even if he's not one of the main fighters. Kiki simply exists. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. It's part of the huge reason why I haven't drawn her yet is because I just don't care. I actually had an idea, like, just not like at this minute, but like I'm actually like considering it now, and more recently. I had this idea to make, so I floated this idea around of the idea that Kiki can turn into all kinds of different objects. So she would most frequently appear as Charlotte's briefcase, because Charlotte takes her briefcase everywhere. But also the key, yeah. I was thinking it could be interesting if, like, if during, like, the final battle she got to be Battle Cat, and, I'm not sure whether to, which route I want to go with that. Do I go, like, a giant Battle Kitty, like something, like, that's so big that you could ride it? Or do I want to go, like, the anime girl route with it? For fan service. That would make me laugh so much. I remember I did see somebody actually did draw Kiki as a furry instead of a regular cat, and that's where I originally got that idea. I think that could be very funny. Question, how do you get your merchandise made? Is it homemade stuff, or do you work with a company or something? I do work with a company. I've got two different companies that I work with. The first one that I use is this one called Woo Cry. And that's what I use for like my keychains. I did actually recently find a new one called Melody Charms, and this one is what we're going to be using for pins because Woo Cry doesn't have pins. No fan servicey stuff, please. Yeah, I mean, I'm not like a pervert, so when I say fan service, I don't necessarily mean like perverted stuff. I feel like calling perverted stuff in anime fan service is a disservice to actual fan service. I think fan service is just like stuff that's like, you know, like shipping bait, that kind of thing. Stuff that like will make the fans happy. Okay, I asked because I wanted to make Jessie and Sonia merch. Yeah, I mean, I could totally make custom merch for people, it's like not that hard to do. It would be a lot more expensive because I do have to pay for like the cost of goods and materials and for them to actually be made by the company, and then shipping costs are always annoying. It's part of the reason why charms are so expensive. I'm trying to keep my merchandise priced as low as I possibly can, so that the most amount of people that want it can buy it. I hate it when things are priced too high. It really quite frustrates me because there's so much merch that I would love to buy, but I'm just too dang poor, so I don't. I'm thinking of like hot. I'm gonna take a look at both stores. What were the names again? Wouldn't you like to know? I'm gatekeeping it now. The first one is Woo Cry. The second one is, dang it, what was it? Melody Charms. I can send you a link if you want it. Shipping fan service I'm happy with. Yes. I mean, I'm not always happy with it because some ships are just kind of cringe, but not always. I think a good like example of fan service that's appeared in Hell of a Boss would be like the one with the teacher lady, that thing. I forget their names. Go all out with the shipping fan service? I probably won't. The only time that I'm like gonna like really give into shipping fan service and stuff would be in like limited edition Valentine's merch. Yeah. So like ships that like I would never like actually write into the bed and breakfast for former baddies. The first two that come to mind are Adam's Apple and Radio Apple, and probably also Radio Static, depending on how the second season handles that. Those would never actually be in the show, but in the merch, you can have whatever you want for the right price. I actually, I did have like this idea for Angel Dust and Valentino merch, where it would be Angel Dust looking cute, and he's got Valentino's head on a pike. I really wanted to draw that and like make it into like a sticker or a pin or or something, but it got voted down. So we'll be doing something else. Maybe next time, if I have more. Next time, if I have like a more preparation time before Valentine's Day, we can do that. Because, you know, Valentine's Day doesn't have to just be about love and romance. It could also be about failed love and romance. Should have been an angelic spear. Well, angelic spears don't exist in BBFFB because angels don't use weapons usually, and when they do, it's always swords. Valentino's Times Day. I am quite excited to write Valentino and Angel's relationship, because the way that I wanted to do it to like really get you to understand Angel Dust's perspective in all of this is to like write Valentino when you like initially meet him as Angel Dust. So the first time that we meet Valentino for real is the first time that Angel Dust meets him, which is a little bit different from my original episode pitch, because I was originally planning on having you meet him like with the other Vs, but I've decided to just keep him like a secret part of the Vs for now. I mean, it's not really a secret because you guys already know about him. But like, I kind of imagine that like Valentino is like that part of business that everyone kind of knows about, but no one talks about, and the public isn't supposed to know about. Because he's not great for PR because of how horrible he is. But people still make money off of him. So I was thinking he could kind of like represent the darker parts of the internet, like specifically the dark web, but not exclusively the dark web. There's also like when dark web stuff like starts to become not mainstream, but like how like certain things like you can tell are like signaling to evil people. Like something that comes to mind is diaper commercials. Have you guys noticed that the diaper commercials are like starting to focus a little too much on the bodies of the children that are supposed to be wearing the diapers? And it's supposed to be like a sort of signal to pedophiles. Like that's not even just like a conspiracy theory. That's real. Like they know that diaper commercials are the first things that predators seek out when they're starting to turn. So I was thinking Valentino could be like that, like the evil side that ever so slowly is starting to become more normalized to the public, so that nobody calls it out when it happens. Imagine if the V's were trying to keep a reputation that they are the kind overlords, even though they are quite abusive. Oh, I'm not saying that I'm making Valentino a predator in that particular way. I was just using that as an example because that's the first thing that comes to mind. I don't really have any other like good definitive answers. I guess like another example could be like Andrew Tate teaching people how to do human trafficking as a business. Life's getting real suck right now, guys. I mean, I guess it is the last days. It is kind of prophesied that a lot of bad stuff is gonna happen. It's gonna get real bad towards the end. Do overlords operate under the sins and demon royalty, or are they independent? They are independent. Charlotte is the sin of pride, or at least she was. So if they had been operating underneath an overlord, it would have been her. Except that she wanted to like operate more as an overlord than as a sin when she was still doing evil stuff. Because she wanted to feel like she was actually respected and feared for her and who she is and her capabilities, rather than who she's related to, because her family always hated her anyway. So that's a kind of why her name doesn't get a ton of respect anymore. Because as hard as she tried to distance herself from her family's titles and names so that she could be her own person, it never quite worked. Also, Andrew Tate does what? Human trafficking. He got arrested for it. Like that's what he was teaching people how to do. It was cam girling. It's called cam girling, but really it's human trafficking using the lover boy method. Don't watch porn, guys. Like, I'm very serious about that, because you really have no idea whether or not the person that's in the porn is being trafficked. Like, there's so much. So they found him with a pizza box. Yeah, kind of hilarious, but yeah, if the police are looking for you so intensely to the point where they're like looking for where your pizza is from, that's bad. Pop G starts playing. And I don't know why. I really don't get the logic behind pimps and why so many men think pimps are like hard or cool in any way, because what they are is they're just sugar babies for the women that quote unquote work for them. Like, they're not a boss. Andrew Tate was not a boss. He just had women that were in love with him and were providing for his every need. He's no different than a sugar baby who's manipulating an older man, an older wealthy man, with sex to get whatever she wants. It's not cool. It really isn't. I guess this is a bit of a. These are some topics that are a bit darker than my usual stuff. I'm sorry, guys. I am actually like quite interested in a lot of darker stuff, but I don't really talk about it on my channel because that's not what my channel is here for. But I guess when I'm streaming, I can kind of just talk about whatever I want. Children be darned. Maybe like his palms should probably be a little lighter. That would be cute. I don't simp for IRL men, I save my simping for fictional men. I'm the same way. Had an idea for sinners where instead of being restricted to the pride ring, they have access to the ring of their main sin as well as pride. I actually have it in BBFFB where they can actually travel freely between the rings so long as they're back in pride during Extermination Day. And if they're not back in pride during Extermination Day, they will be violently teleported there. That's just how it works. So it really is best to be back in pride before that happens. Otherwise, the chances of you getting like hit by an angel like within a few minutes of Extermination Day starting are pretty high. And it's hard to it's hard to walk after you've just been turned inside out and then put back together again. Forceful yoink. Me watching my sinner buddy violently teleport back like he just got Thanos snapped. I actually I had this idea that there aren't a lot of Hellborn that live in Pride because of all the sinners that are in Pride. I feel like Hellborn wouldn't like sinners because with a Hellborn, like, there's a chance that they might not suck, but with sinners, you know for certain they did something horrible to be stuck down there. So I think I don't think Hellborn would raise their children in Pride because of how many dangerous people are up there. I feel like the exception would be like people who are too poor to go anywhere else. So I was thinking it could be interesting if like a visible effect of the class difference between imps and all other species of Hellborn is that there are a lot more imps that live in Pride than any other type of Hellborn because it's the only place they can afford to live. I feel like living would be really cheap in Pride if you're a Hellborn. Not if you're a sinner, but yes, if you're a Hellborn. Yo, imagine when I get better at drawing, I make an animatic of the final minute of the song 600 Strike, but with Demon BBFF Adam and Lucy, that would be great. That would make me very happy. It would make me happy even if it doesn't look good. Just the fact that somebody took the time to make that, it will always be flattering to me. Every single piece of fan art that I receive makes me indescribably happy. Because I know how long it takes to draw. I do it every day, all day. So knowing that somebody took the time out of their busy schedule to draw something, either for me or of one of my characters just because they like my characters, it always makes me so stinking happy. It's the most flattering thing you can ever do for somebody. Sinner's only power over Hellborn. My Sinners only have power over Hellborn because they have souls, which even though technically corrupt, they are still divine gifts partially. Interesting. I don't think I quite understand, but that's probably because I'm an idiot. Hang on. This tail is confusing me, and I drew it. That's better. Now you can, like, see how it's curving. I'll just have my sinners having no rights in hell. Yeah, that's interesting. I've never quite understood why in Vivzi's hierarchy sinners are placed higher than some Hellborn or even all Hellborn. Cause like sinners suck, and I feel like no Hellborn would be happy with them encroaching on their territory. I feel like sinners would almost be seen like this is a horrible comparison, but like as illegal immigrants, like are seen by very right-leaning conservatives. Steelers. Like that's kind of like the vibe that I would imagine would be most realistic, because you've got this invasive species that's in pride, that's overpopulating to the point that angels are now having to come down into the territory and get rid of them because there are so many of them. And I would imagine it would put like a lot of competition on resources that people need to live, like food and housing and water. I feel like water especially would be a difficult resource to come by because so many people need it. And Pride, from what we can see, it's very desert-like. It's all rock, and there's not a single ounce of plant life in there. So, you know, where are they getting the food from? Where are they getting the water from? It has to come from somewhere. The more prejudiced the sinner, the more they're on the bottom of the food chain. That's an interesting idea. I like that one. I forgot to draw your teeth. Because you clearly you have teeth, and I didn't draw them. I have to draw all the teeth. How many teeth do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 teeth. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe we'll move this one up a little higher. Maybe it's because human souls are by default more powerful than Hellborn, like an Undertale. That's an interesting idea. But I don't understand how that would affect like the social hierarchy, because I mean, I guess if it makes sense for like the power hierarchy, but like what about the societal one? You know, maybe I'm just dumb. That's probably the answer. That's usually the answer to most of my problems. Is that I'm not all the way there in the head, and I think too quickly, and it leads to my thoughts not being formed all the way. 6 teeth. politics. We did it. That was close. There we go. How many teeth do you have on the bottom row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 teeth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe it's because the societal hierarchy is influenced by the power hierarchy. It might make sense. A might makes right mentality would make sense for somewhere like hell. Yeah, I guess so. I feel like there would still be at least some groups that aren't happy about the sinners being there. I feel like it would just give so much depth to the world. Because not everybody's opinions are gonna be the same, obviously, and even people that have similar opinions aren't gonna think the same way. I feel like everyone in hell subscribing to the might makes right mentality just makes the world so shallow. It doesn't make it feel real. It doesn't make it feel lived in. It feels like the simplest, easiest way to write direction that you could take. Something that I like to do in my world building is I like to think. You gotta really think about. You gotta think through the consequences of every single action that's taken in your story and expand out from there. So, like, how does the existence of one part of your world affect everything else? So, like, the Goetia are royalty, right? So how does that affect the politics of the realm? I need to come up with a better example. That was I don't know how to finish my sentence. Oh, this is a better example. So, imps. They're supposed to be the lowest on the hierarchy scale, right? But it seems like that doesn't really affect the world building at all, except for with the Goetia. Because, what's his face? Asmodeus and Beelzebub, they're both dating, much lower class, species. Like, Beelzebub is dating a hellhound, which is even lower than imps, and Asmodeus is dating an imp. And you also have Mammon, who hired an imp and made him famous. So, like, what gives? It doesn't feel like imps are actually lower class than everyone else. It feels like there are just a few fringe cases of people being racist. So it feels like just as prejudiced as it is in the real world, where it's actually not that bad, and your race isn't going to hold you back that much. There's just going to be a few jerkwads that are going to be mean to you. So it's actually not that bad. And maybe get over it a little. I mean, that's a little callous, but you guys know what I mean. A better way to, like, establish that, I think in order to, like, really establish that, imps are lower class, like, they are second-class citizens, it's not just a bunch of people being racist, you have to, like, you have to change things a little bit. You have to change the way that they are interacted with by the people in power, because the people in power are the ones who decide whether or not people are second-class citizens. I mean, like, yeah, there is a societal aspect to that, but people tend to follow the examples of their leaders because usually our leaders are people that we respect or agree with. I mean, not always. I mean, clearly, America's politics are the way it is, but that is generally how it goes. I need to change the inside of your mouth. Oh, no, not the whole face. There we go. So I think like an interesting way, like if we were to change Mammon so that he is like actually racist, I think the first thing to do would be to establish that Fizzaroli is the only imp that he's ever hired ever, and he's hired Fizzaroli not because he thinks he's like super talented or anything like that. He's hired him specifically for pandering, so that way like he's got a bunch of other clowns that he also works with. He also makes merchandise of that are also like that are way more famous than Fizzaroli, and Fizzaroli is specifically there for tokenization. I feel like that could be like, yeah, the diversity hire, exactly. I feel like that could be a really interesting way to like build your world out, but also to comment on modern day politics. I hate diversity casting and diversity hiring. It sucks. It's the worst thing every single time, and I feel like it's made race relations worse. Because I know that I myself have personally been screwed over by diversity hiring twice. Because, like, when one of your teachers is a diversity hire versus, like, somebody who, like, actually worked hard and got the position because of their merit and not because of their skin color, you can really tell the difference. Because I remember I was in high school. I had this, I'm certain he was a diversity hire. He was a brown-skinned person. I don't know what ethnicity specifically. It wasn't African American, but he was brown-skinned and he was very outwardly gay. And I knew he was a diversity hire because he never showed up to school. We almost always had to substitute. He didn't teach us anything. He would just give us busy work, and he would give us a lot of busy work. And he also blatantly ignored the 504 plans of the disabled students, including myself, which would drive a lot of people to serious mental breakdowns because he would just ignore it. And he never got fired, and he never got reprimanded because he was the type who, if you gave him any sort of consequence for anything, he would sue the school on discrimination reasons. And that's versus like other teachers. Like my gym teacher was African American, and he was a wonderful teacher, and I absolutely loved him. And you could really tell the difference because you knew that the gym teacher got there based on merit and skill and personality versus the English teacher who got there because he had a college degree and he was he checked a lot of boxes. I also had my first semester of college. I was at a community college. I was taking generals for a math class, and I had an African American teacher for this online class I was doing, and he was the absolute worst, and I still hate him to this day because, like, yeah, it was bad when I was having mental breakdowns frequently because of how much work I was getting in the English class, but at least that was doable. But this other diversity hire that I was specifically victimized by was so much worse, I can't even describe it. Like, he told me 2 different versions of the textbook, right? And this textbook was required. We did all of our work out of this textbook. So I absolutely needed to have the right version because even if the 2 versions were nearly identical, the problems were slightly different, or the numbers would be different, or they would be on different pages. So it was absolutely imperative I get the right version of the textbook. He told me the wrong one. There were 2 different versions of the textbook. So I thought, oh, there's 2 different versions that we're allowed to get. Well, I might as well get the cheaper one because the new one was it was like $250. And I didn't want to spend that much money, so I got the cheaper older version of the textbook for $40 off eBay instead. And it was the wrong one. And I didn't know that until like the first day of class when we had to like do our work out of the book. So I was doing the wrong problems because I didn't have the right book, because I was told the wrong information. And did my teacher like give me any grace? No. I emailed him and told him, hey, I got the wrong version because there were 2 different versions listed, so it's gonna take me a little bit of time to get the new version. It took me 2 weeks, so there were 2 assignments that I had to do within that time period that were based out of the book. So I told him I'm going to do my assignments to the best of my diversity, to the best of my abilities. So I would send in the work that I had done, and he gave me zeros both times, even though I had spent hours on those assignments, and I had told him beforehand, hey, I'm using a different book because I was told a different version, and it took me 2 weeks to get the new one, and I wasted a ton of money because I couldn't resell it. I tried really hard to resell it so I could have my money back, and I couldn't. So not only did I get 2 zeros in his class, but I also wasted $40 that I would have really liked to have had. I mean, that's a lot of money when you don't have regular income. He also, he didn't teach us anything. We were learning directly out of the book. Like everything in math that we learned out of the textbook without any guidance from him at all. He would take at least 3 days to respond to any emails, which is ridiculous when it's an online class. When I had the absolute gall to get a little bit upset and a little bit frustrated with him. He tried to kick me out of his class. He tried to get me kicked out of the school. So like what happened was, like the breaking point for me when I got a little angry was, we had a test we had to do. There were no makeups for this test, and he didn't put down the dates. He gave us weekdays. And you know, I have autism. I'm easily confused. If you give me weekdays, I'm not going to figure out when it is. I need to be given dates. So I got the date of the test wrong, and I missed it, and I couldn't make it up. And I tried to ask him, like, hey, can I please make this up? I got the dates wrong. I misunderstood. And he wouldn't let me. He expected me to just take the 0 on that. So I got a little bit angry. I wrote him like a little bit of a slightly angry rant about all of the ways in which he had failed me. Like, I listed them out specifically that he had never once apologized for, ever. And then he was just going to give me a 0 on this test. Like, I was so fed up. I was so mad. And I did make a bit of a mistake here where I did say, I am the customer, you work for me. Make this work. Which, you know, it's a little bit out of line, but I've been dealing with this dummy for months, and I was so angry. So he tried to get me kicked out of college. So that was really frustrating. I did get switched to an in-person class instead, which I didn't want because, you know, I've got a disability. Showing up to an in-person class is really difficult for me, but he was the only one doing the online version of that class, and I needed that class, so I had to get switched to in-person, and everything ended up being fine. But you know, I would still really like to have that $40. It would really be nice to have that $40 right now, and I still hate him. I know for a fact that if anyone that I've ever encountered in my life is a diversity hire, it's him, because that would never fly if he was a white man. That would never fly. So that's my angry rant for the day. So yeah, I really hate diversity hiring. Not just because of like the incompetence thing, but because I've encountered 2 diversity hires that have severely screwed me over. Anytime I come in contact with a minority in a position of power, there's always like this little voice in the back of my head that makes me wonder if they're actually going to be competent at their job, or if they are just a diversity hire. I can't trust minorities to actually be good at their jobs anymore. And this includes women. Women aren't a minority, but I would include women in this category despite me being a woman, because there's been enough diversity hiring with minorities and women especially. Women more than minorities, in my opinion. I've gotten... I cannot trust that these people will be able to do their job correctly anymore because of this. So if there's like an option for me to get into a class like that is being taught by a white man instead of any other ethnic group or gender, I'm going to pick it because of how much I've been screwed over in the past. And it's really terrible, and it makes me feel really guilty because I don't think I'm racist and I don't want to be racist. But I can't deny my past experience and how awful it's been, and I don't want to put myself through that nightmare anymore. I can't handle it anymore. My budget can't handle it. My mental health is not stable enough to take a risk anymore on people who might not be competent at their jobs. It sucks that this is the world we live in. I wish we lived in a world where I was able to trust people. But we don't anymore. Because we've changed society so that people that aren't good at their jobs can still stay in those jobs no matter how bad they are at them, just because of the virtues that they were born with. And I feel like our society has gotten even more racist than it was 10 years ago, because if you are a minority or if you're a woman, the chances of you getting fired for incompetence are nil. You will not get fired unless you commit an actual crime, and even then, you might not be, because, you know, like I said earlier with that high school teacher that was a diversity hire, he was actively disobeying the law by ignoring 504 plans, which are legally required accommodations that disabled students need in order to function properly, and he just ignored them completely and never even got reprimanded. It makes me so angry. And no matter what I say or do, there's nothing I can really do to make it better. I've been staring at this canvas for too long. I don't know what to put in the background. I'm really sorry you had to deal with that. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm over it now, because clearly I'm still upset about it. I mean, it still makes me angry, but it's not like something that I think about regularly. Well, it's sad because there are people in the minority who are actually very skilled in their work, but they're overshadowed by these types of people. Yes, exactly. Women in STEM used to be highly respected individuals, because if you were a woman in STEM, like, there was no question that you were extremely smart and extremely talented. But after, like, all these pushes to get more women in STEM, women in STEM have lost a lot of respect both from the public and from their peers, because there are so many women that aren't very good at their jobs that are getting those jobs, and not because of, like, that they're good at the job, but because they're a woman. And that is the quickest way to lose all respect from your peers and colleagues and everyone else around you. And now women who are who go into STEM because they're actually good at it, they don't get respected very much until they go above and beyond to prove themselves, because of all these other lazy women that are going in there and stealing jobs from people who are more talented and harder workers. I swear America will get a French Revolution style event happening soon. I'm actually, like, legitimately worried about that. After Luigi Man killed that guy, I feel like we're gearing up for a war. We've been gearing up for a war for a long time, because millennials are this generation called this specific type of generation called the fourth turning. And the fourth turning is a phenomenon that's been studied throughout history time and time again, where every 4 generations or so, there's going to be a big blowout war that changes everything. and it's usually the fourth generation that does it. So now that millennials are the ones in power, it's only a matter of time before we have a real war and before people really die. And with the way that our technology is in this day and age, the amount of people that are probably going to be killed in this war, it's gonna be astronomical. It's gonna suck. So if you're not disaster prepping already, you should probably get on that. Not to mention women in the police force and women as firefighters, their diversity hires could easily get people killed. And not to mention, like, yes, that is very true. And not to mention, like, even if these diversity hires in fields where you need to be physically fit, not only could that kill somebody that you're trying to protect, it could also very easily get you hurt. I think it is good that we have women police officers. Women police officers have their place, like specifically when dealing with female suspects. Like, I remember I saw like some body cam footage of this girl who was driving drunk, and the female police officer that was working with her, that was trying to, you know, she was very good at her job, and I'm glad that she was there. I think that particular lady cop who dealt with her did a better job than most men could do. Like, sometimes you do need an understanding and gentle, and maybe not gentle, but like mothering, somebody with that motherly personality. Sometimes that is a really good thing to have on hand. But in most scenarios, a gentle, motherly police officer is not what you want. So, yes, women police officers, they do have their place, they do have their uses, and I think they are necessary. I think this push to get more and more lady police officers, like, dealing with suspects in the field, I think that's a bad idea. Because the majority of suspects and criminals are not female, they're male. Males, like, just biologically tend to be a little bit more violent than women do. Women tend to be socially violent instead. That's just how we're, like, pre-programmed. Obviously not everyone's like that. It would be stupid to say that every woman is socially violent and every man is going to be physically violent, because that's just not always the case. But that is generally how it happens. And I feel like that having more women in the field where they're dealing with large, dangerous, violent men is a really bad idea, because the only way to level the playing field between men and women on a physical level is to give a woman a gun. And I do think it's important that I think it's a good thing for women to have guns, but I don't think it's a good idea for a woman with a gun to be seeking out danger and criminals, because then the chances of that suspect being killed, when they don't have to be, when they could be, like, restrained by somebody who is stronger and bigger than them, I think that's bad. Perspective's a little wonk, but that's okay. It doesn't matter that much, since this whole thing is going to be blurred anyway. Yeah, put a lock on that so I don't accidentally draw on that layer. I'm going to change the color of it later. Thank God I live in the UK. At least we are slightly more sane, kinda. Well, I don't know about that. You guys don't have guns over there. Like, you're not allowed to, like, own guns. So the amount of stabbings you guys have over there is kind of nuts. I feel like taking away people's right to own guns is not very cool. Like, I feel like the less that people talk about guns and the less that people own guns, the more criminals are gonna have guns, and you won't. There's this, like, really famous quote that an armed society is a polite society, and that is something I totally agree with. You're not gonna get nearly as many you're not gonna have as many people like attacking women out in the open in bars when the person who's doing the attacking knows that literally every man in that bar is going to have a gun on their person and could easily kill them. Like, having a gun doesn't make you special if everyone also has a gun. There's a reason why schools and airports and other places like that are usually the places that get the most attacks, and it's because criminals that go in there know that everyone in there is sitting ducks because they don't have any guns or weapons of any kind for that matter. I really want to put a bush here, but I can't because then it would block this door over here. Bush. No. This is gonna be the one, guys. I feel it. I feel it in my skin. This is gonna be it. This is gonna be the one. Yeah. Is this a Sinner design? No. This is a commission for Mercer. He's writing like something. I don't know what you would really call it. It used to be a fan fiction, but he's turned it into like his own personal thing, which very cool of him. I think that's awesome. This is one of the 4 major characters. I've done 3 other character designs for him. So far everything in his story has been very like Asian themed. I mean, that sounds like a weird way to say it, but like that kind of like older Asian aesthetic, that kind of thing. Which I think is super cool. I feel like I don't get to see quite enough of that. I feel like the people of the Asian continent every single country there has like such rich history that I would love to know more about, but they've destroyed so much of it. Well, not they, but like a lot of it has been destroyed before, so it stinks. It's too bad we don't know more than we do, because there could be so much interesting lore that is just gone forever. I really hate it when people destroy history or destroy artwork, because you can lose so much culture and history that is so important to know, like, not only like to preserve the like warnings from the past, but also like just because it's interesting. Like I remember hearing about something recently where, you know, there's a lot of statues of people around our country that were maybe not like the greatest guys. Like Christopher Columbus is the first one that comes to mind, because boy, that dude was evil. And so people were like thinking about like destroying the statues that we have of him laying around, and I think that's a really stupid idea. I feel like if we don't want to have those statues laying around as like a reminder of the horrors of what's been done, I feel like that's totally valid to not want to see those every day, but I think destroying them is stupid. I think what we should do instead, if we really don't want those statues around, is we should just move them to a museum. Boom, problem solved. Nothing gets destroyed, and now we don't have to look at it anymore if we don't want to. I'm getting a cramp in my back. Me and my homies hate Christopher Columbus. Yeah, I don't know why they ever taught us in school like that Christopher Columbus was anything other than evil. Like, I feel like yes, he did just like technically sort of discover America a little bit. But, like, I feel like we could teach about, like, the good things that horrible people did without acting like they were perfectly virtuous people. Like, I feel like, yeah, you don't want to tell a bunch of elementary schoolers about all of the horrors that Christopher Columbus committed, but you can, like, tell them about, like, the good stuff that he did for our country, and then also acknowledge that, yeah, he did a lot of bad stuff too in an age-appropriate manner. Like, it's not impossible. Like, I remember when I was a kid, like, with my parents, like, we would read the Book of Mormon or the Bible. We would read some sort of Christian scripture every single night. And there's a lot of bad stuff that happens in the scriptures. Like the scriptures, they are definitely, their main purpose is to, like, teach the doctrine of Christ, but, like, they are also a record of history, an invaluable record of history. So in history, people are gonna do bad stuff that will always happen. So I remember how my parents would do it is we wouldn't skip by every single bad story ever. We would skip by some of them that were particularly a little too dark, that were too dark for my little 8-year-old brain to understand. But a lot of them, what my parents would do is that they would break them down and explain them in a way that a child my age could understand. And I will be forever grateful for that, because I didn't grow up and then suddenly gain sentience and read the Bible on my own for the first time and then realize all this bad stuff that happened that I had never learned before. So I was prepared for it when that happened, so that way I could understand it even better when I grew up, as opposed to being completely blindsided. I want to put, like, a little fountain here. Hang on. We need to go reference hunting. Away and away. Let's see. I feel like the way that a lot of, like, Chinese or Japanese gardens is set up is so pretty. Like, they do a really good job every single time. It's always such a vibe. One good example of terrible people having some good qualities is Tsar Nicholas II. Despite being a terrible ruler, he's apparently a great father. I don't know anything about that guy, so I can't really comment there. This is, like, kind of exactly what I want. Hang on. Oh, shrink. We don't really need the foreground on this one, so we can just get rid of that. We might want this thing. I think I'm gonna flip this around. And it is at a bit of a tilt, so we'll just fix that. Yeah, maybe we will get rid of this thing. And you know what? I think I'm gonna flip it back. Yeah, that looks good. We'll use that. We'll use it like this. Is our music over? Yeah. Alright, fellas, what do we want to listen to? Why do you keep popping up in my music recommendeds? Well, I haven't seen any votes in the chat, so I guess we'll go with this one. It's by Zippy, guys. Remember that so you can check him out later. Or don't, I guess. This art is really nice. So I don't always trace my backgrounds like this. I only do it like occasionally when I want something like really detailed or like really specific. This is kind of just like a time-saving technique, which we're gonna need because I'm late on my commissions by quite a bit. You guys already know my tablet broke for a little while, so I am really behind schedule on everything drawing related. I don't know if they have cattails in Asia, but I like drawing them anyway. It's also good to have a villain character with some good qualities since it adds depth to the villain and doesn't make them 1D or 2D villains, though those types of villains do have their place in stories. I agree. The thing about people is people are very complex, and even the worst person will always have some kind of good or admirable quality about them, even despite everything else. And every good person who's ever existed will have some bad or negative quality to them that shouldn't be replicated, with the exception of Jesus, who is our perfect boy that we all love, who would never do anything wrong. Although he still like does have his quirks about him, like he was human. He had to have had like a personality and maybe like some things about him that were a little strange. Like something that comes to mind is like when Mary, his mother, tells him that the wedding that they were at, that they were all out of wine, and he was like, "Why are you bothering me about this?" So he did have like a little bit of sass to him. I think the idea that some people can be completely and totally horrible with zero redeeming qualities is a really bad belief to spread, because it can lead to a radicalization and this belief that your side is entirely good and the other side is entirely bad, which is something that we've seen quite a bit of recently in real life. So when your enemy does something good, it's important to acknowledge that they've done something good, and when your side does something bad, it's important to acknowledge that your side did something bad. So we get like that delicious, tasty nuance, and also so that we can acknowledge that humans make mistakes, and they can move on from that, and then people can get better. I mean, the whole point of life is to improve. You can't improve if you're already perfect. The perspective on this is a little whack, and it'd fix it. Jesus did once get really angry at some rich person. I don't exactly remember who they were. Oh, there were several instances of him getting really mad at people. The first one that's like a really easy story to tell was what was his name? I don't remember, but I think it started with an H. It was some king guy. He had John the Baptist, Jesus' cousin, executed, and Jesus was so angry with him that when they did meet in person, Jesus didn't say a single word to him. The other instance of him being like really, really angry was with a bunch of merchants that were at the temple. They were selling sacrificial lambs at the temple, and that made him upset. Like, the temple is not a place for money changing, and he was so upset about that he took hours to braid a whip, because it does take hours and hours to braid a whip. And then he went and chased everyone out of the temple, everyone that was participating in the money exchange. So, yeah, he does get mad. He's usually a pretty chill guy, but if you make him upset, he gets real upset. I have a main character who's an accomplished actor and is generally fun to be around and is openly caring to his friends, but he also has a pretty nasty temper, has a lot of trauma which he let fester and build embitterment in him, is prone to holding grudges, and has absolutely zero patience for people who give him a bad first impression. That sounds like a very interesting character, and I think you've got like a lot of good qualities right off the bat, and also some very interesting flaws that could make for a really interesting character arc. Whoever this character is of yours, they sound like they could make for a really interesting story. I do really enjoy drawing backgrounds. The game Hollow Knight like really made me fall in love with backgrounds and gave me a greater appreciation for background art, because the way that they paint their backgrounds is just so gorgeous that even the most artistically blind person can recognize just how amazing that art is. It's not just like they don't draw just like the standard forests and plants and whatnot. They really have this excellent way of making all of the backgrounds that they draw both familiar but unique, and they all feel like fantastical and like fantasy stuff that could never exist in real life because it's too gorgeous. Even like in their scary or gross environments, the artwork is still gorgeous. Having my Lucifer have a soft side for kids, even if she hates humanity and isn't a good mom, that's great. I do like that. The one exception to my give everyone some good traits thing would probably be my Lucifer. He is completely and totally evil all the way through, and he doesn't have any good qualities, but he does mimic them. But nothing he ever does is ever genuine, ever. I mean, it's hard to make the embodiment of evil good even a little bit, because that's like, I feel like if anyone should be a one-dimensionally evil character, it should be the devil. Because he is evil incarnate. And then the opposite, you also have like the opposite side of that spectrum, which would be God, because God is everything good incarnate. So obviously those two characters are going to be a little flat. And in order to emphasize that, you do have to make all other characters in your story complex. so that that flatness of those two characters really appears to your audience as an intentional choice and not just be laziness. So like that difference in quality, not difference in quality, but like that difference in the way that they're written, like really emphasizes when all of the other characters are super complex in comparison, it really emphasizes that flatness, so you really get the idea, oh, Bean is evil incarnate and God is good incarnate. Sorry if it sounds like I'm repeating myself a lot, I probably am. This is why I write a script, so that I can get the way that I want to word something correct the first try. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna ignore that. Know what this thing is? Like, is it just for decoration, or like does it also like double as like a birdhouse or something? You know what? I could draw a bird sitting on it. That would be nice. I mean, they didn't pay for any animals, but I would like to draw an animal. I should draw it better than that. We won't draw the eyes since it's so far in the background that all we really have to worry about is color and shape. Now it kind of looks like this doubles as like a bird bath. I guess I should probably like erase that line so this looks more like a tail. I intended it to be the wing, but it doesn't look like the wing. Hang on. We'll have like the wing going down like this and the tail going up, because that's normally what birds sort of look like when they're bathing. Your head is too tall. Yeah, there we go. I guess maybe we can add an eye now that it's facing a different way. If my thing would like to zoom in, please. If my thing would like to zoom in, please. Thank you. That's great. I forgot to actually draw a cattail in here. Here we go. Rendering the water is going to be a challenge. I find water to be a really difficult thing to render, because it has so much detail, but at the same time, no detail at all. This music is incredibly soothing. Yeah, I think we made a good choice here. like it also like kind of fits the scene a little bit. Oh, I'm so excited to render all this. I'm a fool. Sometimes like I start drawing a scene and then I back up and realize how much detail I put into it and realize, oh, I have to render every single thing that I put in here. I have to color it, I have to shade it. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be a nightmare. But it'll be worth it for that sweet, sweet money. It was sweet. Like, whenever I get frustrated with a commission, I just remind myself, just think about those sweet, sweet groceries. I'm probably not going to be getting my check from the money that was being transferred from my other bank account that no longer exists. I'm probably not going to be getting that money until like February. So yeah, this is my bread and butter for right now. I can see why you charge so much for backgrounds. Yeah, I do try to put quite a bit of effort into backgrounds. I think backgrounds are such an important part of a piece that you really can't ignore them. Same time, it's so much effort to draw a background, which is why commissions that have a background I normally charge twice as much. Since backgrounds actually take so much work, something that I've come up with to save myself time for an arrangement was made is where is it? I actually made a background just by itself so that I can reuse it over and over again. How do I stream Ibis? Okay, so what I do, I use Streamlabs to stream, and what I do is I use this display capture, which captures my entire PC screen, and that's usually this is usually what works the best. I have had it work a few times where I select Ibis as a game. It works better in OBS if that's the only thing you want to display, but for some reason Streamlabs has some problems with that, which is why I normally use a display capture instead of a window capture like I was using before with Genshin. Oh my god, Chicken Nugget just teased a Slushy U2's plush, let's go! Oh my goodness, I would love that. I love Chicken Nugget, it's great. I do have other pre-made backgrounds for an arrangement was made. This one right here, that was actually something that I pulled off of Hazbin Hotel itself. I remember just googling Hazbin Hotel backgrounds and this background popped up. And so what I do is I just take this background, I plop it in, I draw the characters over top of it, and I give it an overlay so the characters stand out more. Because the characters, even with their original colors, just do not stand off the background enough without some kind of overlay. I think I put a purple overlay over this one. Why don't we go ahead and look at it right now? So this is the overlay. This is what it looks like when it's normal and not set to overlay. I used a blue and then I put a light blue streak right here, so that way we could get that nice beam of light right there. Here's what the background looks like without the overlay. It still looks fine, but I think it just looks better with the overlay on. It makes the wallpaper a little bit more purple, so the red isn't overwhelming you quite as much. But yeah, I did pre-draw this background, and I've used it twice. I used it once in Charlie's chapter, and I used it once in chapter 9. It does look a little bit whack here because what I tried to do is I tried to blur the background a little bit without blurring the foreground. I really should have split it so that way the foreground and background are on different layers, but I didn't do that. I should have. Whoopsie. Oopsie doopsie. I wish I would have drawn this background divorced from the characters. I'm sure it would be like an easy fix to just edit them out. But it is sad. I put so much effort into this one singular background, and I will never get another chance to use it ever again. I might be able to... Yeah, I can't even... I was thinking I might be able to reuse this in BBFFB, except that heaven doesn't look like this in BBFFB. It doesn't look like a city. I mean, there are city portions, but we won't be visiting any of those portions. We'll only be visiting, like, the country, which, real shame. Real shame. This took me 22 hours to do. I mean, I did accidentally leave the file open on my computer, so it's actually probably more like 10 hours, but it still took quite a bit of time. Shame we never get to use this again. I usually have my backgrounds on a separate layer to my characters when drawing pixel art. Yeah, I always put my characters on a separate layer as the background. Well, almost always. But the problem is, I think what I do is I don't render what's underneath them. Hang on, let me see. Yep, so I can just turn the characters off, but as you can see, I didn't do any line art, or maybe I did. Yep, I didn't do any liner underneath the characters, I didn't do any shading underneath the characters, I didn't do any color underneath the characters, so even though the characters are really easy to get rid of, I would still have to do some work to fix this issue right there. Other backgrounds I haven't put quite as much effort into. So like for this one, like you can see, like I still did put effort into it. It did take me a little while to do. But hang on, what I did was turn you off. Turn that off too. So I actually what I did was I took a bunch of grass. I took a bunch of grass brushes, and I used them to quickly like fill this in. I also used like the fern bushes to like quickly make these ferns so that I wouldn't have to draw those. And I did actually use a tree brush for the backity back here, and I put like a really heavy blur on that so that I wouldn't have to worry about rendering as much of that either. But that wasn't, it didn't take me like no time at all. Like if you come in here and like really look at the details, you can tell, you can kind of see where like the grass brush is, but I also did draw grass myself to make it look better. And then I put the shadow down, but since the background isn't the focus of the picture, it's this character, I didn't put as much effort into it, especially since by the time that I got around to the background, I'd already been working on this thing for hours and hours and hours. 7 hours. So it took me 7 hours to fully draw the character and do all the shading and whatnot, and then probably like maybe 30-40 minutes to do the background. It takes a while. It takes a really long time to make things good. For the background on this one, I did actually use Has Been Hotels wallpaper, like a PNG of it. And then I just put down like a floor, and I don't remember if I put an overlay on this. I think I probably did. I did not put an overlay on this, but I did put like some shading to like make it look a little less flat. Because this one didn't have a background order to come with it, I don't think. So I didn't really spend any time on it, but I did want it to look finished, you know? This one didn't have a background order on it either, but this character does have a second form where she turns into a fox. So in the back, I put her fox form and just made it really transparent. I don't think this one had a background either, but I did give like an extra like little bit in there as like a reward for like Patreon, because the person who ordered this is from the Patreon. So what I did was I drew like a metallic dragon tail in the back and then gave it some heavy blurring, just to like really make it feel finished, because we did have like this big area of empty space up here that we couldn't get rid of because his spear is up here, so I couldn't just crop it in. So I think it looks better like that. For this one didn't have a background either. It was not ordered with a background. So what I did was, you know, like the blue screen that you get when like your PC runs into a problem? This character is like themed off of that. So what I did was I took a PNG of that and I just like, I gave it a little twist and then just dropped it in, and it was, I think it looks great. So I do like to add backgrounds when I can. This background was surprisingly challenging. Since this one was ordered specifically with a background, I didn't want to just drop in a PNG or like just use a grass brush or something, since the background was so important to this particular piece. It took quite a bit of time to actually do this one. The character didn't really take very long because I've drawn that character before, but getting all the grass detailing in a way that actually looks good was really difficult. I find a simple plane of grass is more difficult to render in a way that looks good than something complex, because all of the attention is on the grass. So the grass, you have to really make that grass look good. AJ spitballing about commissions and the process behind each piece is something I would watch for hours. Thank you. Ugh. Yeah, I'm on the right layer. Okay. I think I am going to simplify these trees a little bit so I don't have to do quite as much drawing and quite as much shading. I'm going to draw this actually in a different color. I'll change the color of the line art later. But this is just like to help me like keep track of everything since we have so many layers going on. That looks good. It looks like these trees like do have some texture to them. I might add a little bit of that in. I don't really want to add very much of it in. Ooh, 6 viewers! Welcome to all our new people! The streaming category is wrong now. I was playing Genshin Impact earlier because I needed to take a bit of a break from what I'm actually doing, which is commissions. So I think what we're doing right now is we're just filling in like some detail for back here in the background that was ordered, and I think for down here on the ground, I'm going to like make it like a wooden floor. And that's the plan. That looks awful. Well, that looks decent. You added a gradient to my Sinner OC's character designs as well, didn't you? Did I? I don't think I did. Oh, I did! I totally did! I totally forgot that I added that. I'm sorry. Once I draw something, it leaves my mind forever. Is the body of water in the background a hot spring? I wasn't planning on making it a hot spring, but we can totally imagine that if we want, if we want that. Have you guys ever been to a hot spring? Because I have, and it's wonderful. I wish I would have been a little bit older when I went to the hot springs. I was in elementary school, and I just didn't appreciate it as much as I could have when I was an adult. Because when you're a kid and you go to a body of water, what you want to do is not to relax. What you want to do is you want to splash around and play and have fun. I didn't love the hot springs as much as I could have. Now that I'm a little bit older, where I used to live, I used to live in Utah when I was a little kid, and we lived like right on the border next to Idaho, and in Idaho there was like through the canyon to Idaho there was a hot spring, like there were some naturally occurring hot springs. We used to go to them, like we always went during the winter. Always like during Christmas, because that's the only place you could swim during the winter. I hated that we always went in the winter, because when it's winter time there's snow everywhere and it's cold, so the only place you can be is in the hot spring, because everywhere else is cold, and once you get out of the hot spring you're freezing cold and you have to walk all the way back to the building to get dried off and stuff. So I didn't like that. I wish we would have gone in the summer so I could have like really had fun. I mean, I still did have fun, but I just don't remember very much of my childhood anymore. Depression is kind of whack. I think I first started showing depressive symptoms when I was in the 5th grade. So I've had depression for a very, very long time. And because of it, there's a lot about my childhood that I really don't remember. Because memory loss is a symptom of depression. Especially like really long-term depression, which is quite unfortunate. I would like to remember more about my childhood and more about my life in general, but I can't remember anything. Sometimes I worry, well, maybe not worry is the wrong word, but every now and then there's like this thought that comes to me, like, what if there's something extremely traumatic that I'm repressing about myself that happened to me when I was a kid? Every now and then that thought comes up, but I don't think it's founded. I think that's just a shower thought that comes occasionally. I don't think I'm traumatized. I think I had like a pretty standard, good childhood. I bathe in alarmingly hot water for some reason, so I'm kind of adapted to the heat despite being in the UK, aka wet Wonderland. Hot baths are the best. I don't like this new trend of cold showers. Well, I guess it's not really a new trend, it's been around since I was a kid. But I don't like the trend of cold showers. I think cold showers are way overrated and they don't really do anything except for make you cold. Something I miss about my childhood is baths instead of showers. Cause when we moved away from Utah, we moved into this house that didn't have a bath. It only had showers. So I stopped taking baths, and I miss them. I only shower now. And yes, I have a regular real bath in my apartment, but I just haven't really gotten around to using it as a bath. I've only showered. Because now I'm out of the habit of bathing. I only shower. Something I would like to do is I want to get myself some bubble bath and a rubber duck, and I want to have a great time in the bath that I'm paying for but not using. But you know, it's another expense, and I'm really poor, so I can't like it pains me to spend any money on expenses that are unnecessary if I can avoid them. So I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet. I also just like kind of like don't have time. I'm an incredibly busy person. Even though I feel like I don't really have very much work to do. I don't know. Forcing myself to really take care of myself is a bit of a struggle. That's another symptom of depression, is just like not taking care of yourself very well. I've gotten a lot better about it. But, you know, I still struggle sometimes. Honestly, I need to shower today. I think when I'm done with this commission, I'll probably take a shower. Or maybe I won't. Hey, Mercer, nice to see you. Is this song from Nier? I don't know what that is. This is an original composition by this YouTuber named Sippy. The name of the video is The Shadow Kingdom. You know what? I will link it. I will copy a link and I'll put it in the Discord. Mercer, I don't know if you're in the Discord. If you want a link to that, just send me a message on Patreon. I'll send it to you, or on Ko-fi, whichever one works better for you. Seven viewers, nice to see you. Nice to see you all. Little same. I've been getting better with my dental hygiene recently. That's good. That's good. Dental hygiene. That's the end of the sentence. Yeah, I don't know what to follow that up with. I know that I have a thought. I have thoughts about dental hygiene, but I don't know how to phrase any of them in words. We will keep like this little building in the back. It's quite cute. Oh, by the way, Mercer, I am actually working on your commission right now. I'm doing the background portion of it. Yes, I did get all of the line art and the coloring done. The plan is, we've got the background working right here. It's gonna be like an Asian style garden, and then you've got like your, I don't know what the term is for like those like older Asian houses, whatever you would call them, like the ones that have like the paper sliding doors. It's gonna be one of those ones. So that's what these are gonna be. I'm gonna change the line art of this grid right here. So that's gonna be like our paper door. And then this is gonna be a wooden floor. Let me know if you want any of that changed. I'm not going to worry about any more detail back here. I think we'll probably just fill that in with either like a gradient or maybe like just black. You know what? Maybe I'll just put like more trees back here, or like the implications of trees. I know what you're talking about and I love it. Great, wonderful. These look like they're kind of like stands to this thingy. The sliding doors are called shoji. Thank you. I will not remember that. But I will attempt. Yeah, that looks good. Good thing there's like a lot of ground cover. Even if there wasn't, I would just add it so that I don't have to draw the bases of things. I don't know what this thing is. Turn that off, and I think we're just gonna free ball it from here. I think what we'll do is like we'll have like a little gap where there's probably like we'll put like a wall here. That's bad perspective. Wall. There we go. And then I think we'll put more trees here to cover everything up. I feel like these types of streams are so relaxing to me. Thank you. Thank you. I do enjoy making them. Man. These XP pens the nibs on them do not last very long. I've only been using this nib for like a day or two and already it's worn out quite a bit. They're very soft. The ones that I used to be using, I used to use a Wacom. I'm sure some of you already know that. But the Wacom nibs, they were durable. I could use a Wacom nib for like months and it wouldn't wear out this bad. It might be like the XP Pen tablet itself. Maybe it's like more textured, that might have something to do with it, but I'm not fully certain. It feels smooth to touch, so it can't be. I'm guessing it's probably the nib tip. Hang on, let me quickly change this out. I am actually keeping the nibs around even if they are a little worn out. So that way if I run out and can't afford to buy new ones, I have some laying around even if they are of lesser quality. You do want to change your pen nib out when it stops like being round at the tip so that it doesn't scratch up your tablet. I actually accidentally did that with my old Wacom. I didn't know you were supposed to change out the pen nib. So I did actually scratch up my old tablet quite a bit until I did buy new pen nibs. I put it off for a really long time because I didn't know you could change out the nib itself. I thought you just had to buy a new pen. So I just want you to know that Pose has inspired a trait he has now to sometimes sing or hum spy music to himself. How do you do that? I don't know, you just pull it out. I usually use my teeth, but you can also use a pair of pliers. They're jammed in there like pretty securely, so it's like not gonna fall out if you just shake it around. But yeah, if you just bite down on the nib and pull it out, it'll come out. And then you can just shove the new nib in there easily enough. Let's see. Hang on a second. I will be right back. I do need to use the bathroom for a little bit.